Hello, anyone who watches this video or everyone who ends up watching it, or I don't know, whoever. This is gonna be a pretty long video and I don't know what to do with my hair, so I'm sorry. And it's actually raining really badly outside, which is why I kind of decided to make the video for today. But I'm sorry if you kind of end up hearing the crazy thunderstorm going on outside right now. But I want to talk about something that I have been struggling with for a very long time, something that I know that I am not alone in struggling with, and I know that I love to hear other people's stories about this, so I figured that I would just kind of share mine in hopes that it would help someone else, or that it might make them feel less alone. And that topic is driving anxiety. So let's just get right into that. So basically, driving or watching someone else drive was never a problem for me, and I never thought that I would have a problem with it. I always kind of saw it as like, I knew it was like a necessity, and I knew it was something that everyone did, and I was just kind of like, yeah, like this will be fine. But when it came time to go for my driving lessons around 16 I think, which is actually 3 years ago already. When it came time to do that, all my anxiety problems, because I do have prior anxiety issues and I have been struggling with anxiety for the longest time, so all of my anxiety issues from beforehand had kind of popped up and made it really hard to take driving lessons. I started off my driving lessons with a woman from a driving company. I thought that maybe driving with a woman, she would be a lot easier on me, maybe kind of a lot nicer, because I was very concerned about like being in the car with someone that I felt safe with, and with someone that made it easy to learn how to drive, and you know, didn't yell at me and didn't push me, especially because, you know, I wasn't going to know this person. So that was my main concern. So I ended up being with a woman driving instructor who actually ended up being like the worst. She constantly was screaming and just gave me like so much anxiety when I tried to drive, and it just made me feel stupid. So after literally like the first lesson, you're supposed to take about 3 lessons, I believe, and it's about to be 2 hours each. I think that's what it is, like 6 hours to get your permit, I believe. So I started off with her, and I knew after the first lesson I was just like, I'm not driving with this woman anymore. Like, I have to find someone else. Like, I'm sorry, but I can't do it with this woman at this point. So we ended up, actually, my mom's friend, or like a family friend, actually ended up being a driving instructor, and so the family had already knew him, and I knew him, and I was just like, yeah, like this will be great. So we ended up switching, and we went through his driving school, and he taught me, and with him I was doing so well. I wasn't nervous at all. I learned everything I had to know. I learned every turn. I learned how to drive on every highway. Like, he took me on every single highway there is around here, like big highways, smaller highways, narrow streets, side streets, intersections, everything that you could possibly come across when you drive. I learned it, and so I felt really confident, and I was ready. So I got my permit, and I was super excited about it, and I was constantly driving with people, and I was just like, yes, I can do this. And then one day, kind of an accident occurred. I got really horrible, life-changing, tragic news that day, so I shouldn't have been driving, but I did anyway, because I thought like, hey, I can focus, like I'll be fine. No, don't do it. If you're distracted by something, or you're really upset, or if something tragic just happened to you, please do not drive, because you will make horrible mistakes and it will scar you. So basically that's what I did, and I ended up pulling into a parking spot too fast. So my sister was telling me to slow down, slow down. She got nervous, so she started saying it really loud, like slow down, slow down. And for some reason, my brain just freaked out, kind of blanked, and I ended up just stepping on whatever was there. So I ended up stepping on the gas instead of the brake, and I went into, it was like a pole in front of a store. But if the pole wasn't there, I literally would have gone into the store. So basically my car was up on this pole, and I just completely spaced out. Like, I don't even remember this really happening, but my sister said that I turned to her and I looked at her and I said, what just happened? So it was so bad, to the point where like I didn't even know what had even happened. I had just got my car a week earlier, and all of a sudden pieces of my car were shattered on the floor next to me. Thank God me and my sister both did not get hurt. We were absolutely fine. We were wearing seatbelts. But I just got out of the car and I just looked at it and I was just like, what did I just do? And it was so traumatic. I ended up just sitting outside the car, like crying, like calling my aunt and my uncle and being like, you have to come help me. Like, I don't know what just happened. Like, thank God I wasn't alone at the time when that happened, but it just spiraled everywhere, and it just made everything so bad for me driving. So then from there on, every time that I would drive, I would get like stupidly nervous, like stupid, where I would be so nervous that I couldn't focus on what was happening when I was driving. Like, my full attention wasn't on driving because I was thinking about all the possibilities that could happen. I was thinking in my head, don't get into an accident, don't get into an accident, don't hit that person, don't hit that, don't hit that. And my brain was just so all over the place. It was so everywhere that I couldn't focus on what I was actually doing, which caused more kind of not accidents. I haven't really gotten into any other accidents, but near accidents, like mistakes that really scared me even more. So it was just, they were both just like feeding into each other, both just kind of like being nervous about having an accident made a near accident happen, and they would just kind of clash all the time, which made it so hard for me to drive. So eventually I did end up getting my license. That was a complete struggle. The first time I tried to get my license, I was so nervous that I completely messed up on like the first thing that he had me do, and he just pulled me over and he was just like, yeah, you need to learn how to calm down, and then you could come and try to take it again. And I was like, wow, okay. So I tried even more, I practiced even more, and the second time that I went to get my license, I got my license finally. But even that day, trying to go to the place and trying to not be terrified and jumping out of my own skin, like, was so hard to do. Like, I did not want to go to get my license. I was like fighting with everyone. I was like, you can't make me get my license, like, no. So it was a struggle to get my license, really. And now I've had my license for about 2 years and I still barely ever drive. I've been working on it lately. Like today, before it started raining really badly, I went driving a little bit. I went driving like 2 days ago or something again. So I'm trying to go driving more like side streets and small places, but it definitely is still super hard. It's just a problem where I kind of get in the car and I'll be fine. Like I will be perfectly fine driving. I won't hit anything. I'll be safe. I'll do the right things, and it's like I'm doing it, but while I'm driving, I think to myself, like, if I see a car coming at me or towards me, or I see like a person walking in the street or anything, just my brain will kind of go off and be like, don't hit them, don't hit them, don't hit them, don't hit them. And that is super distracting and super scary to just kind of have in your brain the entire time while you're driving. So that's currently what's happening with it. That's what's been happening for the past maybe 2 years. I drive for a while and then I kind of stop, and then I drive again, and then I stop. And I want to be consistent with it, but it's super hard to do when your brain is kind of just everywhere. And then after I don't drive for a while, I always think to myself, like, oh my god, what if you forgot how to drive? Or like, what if you, like, I don't know, what if you get in the car and you don't know what to do in a certain situation, or blah blah blah. I don't want to take driving lessons again because I already know how to drive and I already have a license. Like, the government thinks that I am safe on the road and that I am okay to drive, and I don't even believe that. Like, so it's really scary. I've tried a lot of things. I've tried like hypnosis, and I've tried like hypnosis tapes that you download, and I've tried driving with anyone in the car. I've tried just about everything, and I'm still kind of getting nowhere with it, and that's super discouraging. And basically all I want in my life right now, all I really need to do is just to drive, because I'm tired of, you know, having people take me places, or, you know, having to rely on someone for a ride somewhere. Like, that gets really exhausting, and it kind of diminishes you. Like, sometimes I don't even feel like I'm 19 years old, because I'm just like, you should be driving at this point. So it's really hard to deal with, and this isn't really like an inspirational video because I'm still struggling so badly with it, but I kind of just wanted to share my story and kind of wanted to get it out there so that maybe in the comments we can all kind of have a discussion, and anyone who watches this who has driving anxiety, maybe as bad as I do, maybe less, maybe worse, can kind of feel better knowing that there's someone out there just like them that is dealing with this too, and that no one is alone in the problem that they face. Like, no one has to deal with this alone. Like, I know it's a very common thing now. I used to think that, like, I was the only one that didn't drive, because I would look at everyone and I would just be like, wow, like, she's driving, he's driving, they're driving, like, oh my god, everyone drives. And then I kind of took to the internet, and I kind of saw how many people actually do struggle with this, and it made me feel like, hey, like, you're not alone. So I figured making this video might make someone feel like they're not alone either. So yeah, that's it basically. If you have this problem, or if you knew someone with this problem, or if you have any remedies or anything, comment down below. I would love to hear it. I would love some advice. I would love just to talk to anyone who has the same problems or anything. So thank you for watching.